And we are returning with this portion of the Real Estate Radio Hour. Before the show's over, we'll get you that website and the special toll-free number that the guy set up.
Yeah, and we had a text on someone that is underwater on a duplex, and the text didn't all the way come through. So if you want to get that
garbled,
answer,
didn't it?
Yeah, we can. You didn't have to send it again. So
yeah,
sorry,
resend that text about
the duplex.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
yeah,
underwater.
Don't be afraid to call in. We're nice guys.
Yeah, that's true. That's easy too. Yeah, that might be even easier.
Some people, you invited yourself down to Fort Myers.
I know, it's awesome,
people
isn't
are
it?
afraid. Yeah. Hey, I wanted to ask Jesse Trebil again.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Jesse Trebil. He had also brought to our attention a new wall system. I know that you do the drain tile and waterproofing and all that, and there's a very interesting product. Can you just tell the listeners a little bit about it?
Sure, we're very proud of it. We're just getting started using it. We actually manufacture it in our shop. Basically, what it is a non-load-bearing energy wall. So it's all made out of recycled milk jugs and stuff. So it's very green, very energy efficient. And essentially, what we do is we extrude plastic I-beam studs. So in place of the wood traditional 2x4. We're actually using a plastic I-beam. It's very straight, very strong, and then we have a custom channel on the bottom and a custom part for the top. So we make all basically plastic and foam wall, so there's no organic material to rot or decay or promote mold growth. So fantastic in, say, potentially moist areas or even in garages as a divider wall. So
I can't tell you how many people over the years I've met that have had that house and they just never finish that basement because they always have a little bit of that wicking in the corner or that seepage in the spring, like a lot of basements get.
Oh, yeah.
And they're afraid to finish the basement because they figure it'll just rot out. So this might be a nice alternative to something like that.
Well, absolutely. I wouldn't, if you're going to finish your basement, I do recommend getting it waterproof. But a basement is a damp area, and to have a finishing system that you can build your walls in a traditional style without the risk of mold growth is phenomenal.
So how is it for a do-it-yourselfer, or do you guys provide services? And if you do, what kind of, is it competitive, or what's the pricing on it?
Well, it's very similar to traditional as far as cost goes. But, we'll sell it to homeowners, or our crews are trained to install it also. So very quick installation. Labor savings is huge. It basically snaps together. And what's neat is it's fastened to the floor and to the floor joist. So it's completely independent of the foundation wall, which we know has a tendency to move in and out. And we can go around obstacles real easy because it isn't attached to the foundation wall. So if you have plumbing or electrical or whatever mounted to your foundation wall, we can just go right over it.
Yeah, it's an interesting product.
It's cool.
All right, we're getting calls coming into the station, real estate calls that we want to field. We don't want to leave anybody out here. Let's see. Julie is first up here, calling from Forest Lake. Julie, you're on CCO. Thank you.
Hi, I have a question about a divorce situation with my son.
Mm-hmm.
He is in the process of getting a divorce, and his wife, his ex-wife, or soon-to-be ex-wife, wants to keep the house. What process, how do we go about getting his name off of the mortgage and so that he's able to purchase another home down the road?
Well, I think that's a good question for the Cambria folks down there. Alissa or Matt, you want to answer that one?
Basically, when you're going through a divorce, you would have to refinance. If he's on the mortgage, on the loan of that home, they would have to refinance the house to get one or the other off of there.
I was going to say, in divorce situations, we see it all the time where the divorce decree says that, yep, he's not responsible, but technically that mortgage company didn't let him off the hook.
Right.
So he's got to refinance it. She's got to be able to qualify on her own, correct?
Right.
Okay,
yep.
Cool.
Yeah, because on a divorce decree, you might be, no rights to the house, but if you're on the mortgage, it's half your problem.
Well, it's a huge problem because if they decide to foreclose or the other one's mad at the other one and they say, hey, I'm not going to make the payments, it wrecks your credit too, so be careful.
The only problem sometimes is, and what I've seen, and I've been in those situations, is that the one or the other is not able to qualify for that mortgage, and so that person stays on there. So it's a tricky thing.
Hey, where do we go from here, guys? We've got about 2 minutes or so to go.
It's a good question.
Yeah,
we don't know
right? Either. All right.
No, we've had some good things. We wanted to thank everyone for coming in to Cambria. Alissa, Csiki, and It's a confusing name, how it's spelled and how you say it.
I think it's an easy name.
It is easy.
It's very memorable.
Yeah, it's a very good loan officer.
Thanks for having me here.
Absolutely. And then and Matt Helling, we appreciate it. Jesse Trebil, why don't you? We've been getting texts. We get a lot of texts about they want to know who Jesse's information is. So Jesse, if you want to just, how can people contact you?
Well, the best way to get a hold of us is you can go online, find us, safebasements.com. So very simple, Safe Basements. Otherwise, our toll-free number, 1-800-430-5851.
And Andy's got some great information here, too.
Yeah, I know a lot of people nowadays are picking on the millenniums that are out there. That's that age group of 18 to 34. And Trulia, which is a website I know a lot of our listeners like to use just to reference what's been sold in their area, they did a survey that they say there's a myth about the millenniums that they'll be renters forever. And they actually just put out a survey, and it shows that 93% of the millennium renters that are out there eventually plan to buy a home. So those younger kids that are out there, the 18 to 34-year-olds, they still are living the American dream.
What percentage was that? I'm sorry.
It was up to 93%. But
wow.
Historically, 72% of adults have the passion, or they call it the American dream, to want to own real estate. And they're right in line with the rest of us. It's just they're taking a little longer to get there. So,
Yeah. No open houses this weekend.
None.
Nope, not this weekend.
Speaking of open houses, my brother who lives in New Jersey could have used Jesse because Hurricane Sandy blew a 5-foot section hole through his foundation.
Oh, no, that's awful.
Yeah, 6 feet of water in the basement. Rushing out and then rushing back in again.
Oh, boy.
So that was really
probably
something.
saved the house.
Yeah, upstairs is fine.
Yeah.
Downstairs, of course, he lost everything down there. But anyway,
Terrible.
we've got to run, guys. Jesse, good to see you again. And
Thank you
guys
very
will
much.
see you next week, right? With
Awesome.
another show?
Absolutely.
All right. Keep in mind, realestateradiohour.com. It's a great resource. You can find all sorts of information on there. And a lot of the guests, a lot of the networks, a lot of the folks that you do business
Everyone's
with.
on there.
Yeah, everybody's on there. Or certainly call that toll-free number, and that is 800-246-1867. We'll see you back here next week with more of the Real Estate Radio Hour.